Accumulation of price can either be a headache or can either help you out a lot. Let me show you how. So over here, let me go ahead and break it down into some drawings real quick so that you guys can fully understand. Now it's going to be very easy to spot this. The way that you spot this is literally, it looks like a Tetris. So for those people that are good at Tetris or had played Tetris, this will be a lot easier for you. You'll be able to see this right here, this little Tetris, or you'll be able to see that market does this little Tetris to the downside. Now these right here are things that I like to take in consideration as accumulation of price. Why is that? The reason to that being is because as we can see market pushing to the upside and trying to push to the upside right here, right at this very moment, right here, the middle, there are lots of selling and buying orders at the same time, compressing market price and making a huge sporadic accumulation of price. Therefore, right here is going to be a point where market will potentially have some reaction if market comes back into those sections. So as we can see over here, same case scenario, market's pushing down. In this section right here, what do we see? Market trying to push to the upside, a lot of sells, a lot of buys, and market is sporadically going into one section. Therefore, it's accumulating price, and since it's accumulating price, once market finally continues on moving down, we created the accumulation of price. Now, what I take in consideration is the midpoint right here, this right there, and this right there. Why? The reason why I take that in consideration because right here is where all that price is accumulating. Right here is where all that price is accumulating. So in this case scenario, if market continues moving down, when market goes up, this is going to act as if it's a zone of imbalance because there's so much price accumulating in that section. There's so many buys and sells potentially that are orders that are not open and orders that are open, so on and so on. So market's going to do what it can to get back to that area of imbalance before doing anything. Now, very important, very important to understand this. This does not mean that you're automatically going to be selling. This means that in this section, you want to look carefully at what is happening on the smaller time frames. Smaller time frames, the M1 and the M3. You want to see if market is distributing or accumulating. Once you identify market, let's say it distributes on the 1 minute, awesome. You're good. You're in for a good ride to the downside. But if it does not distribute and it breaks above right here and starts accumulating, well, now you are at the start of a accumulation. So you really got the best entry before market comes back up and reaccumulating right here before it continues going up. So it's very important for you to take a lot in consideration of what happens at this specific area. So let's get to it. Let's go ahead and look at some charts. That way we can go ahead and see how it looks like. Now you will be seeing this on the 1 hour, the 15 minute, so on and so on. You'll more likely see this either before or after points of interest or imbalance zones. This likes to get a lot in the area of those sections. So always take that in consideration. Right here, what do we see? We see a nice accumulation of price. Now this accumulation price happened when? It happened right after a point of interest, meaning that all the orders that had happened in the point of interest had been brought down into the accumulation of price. Now you see two accumulation price back to back, for example, this right here and this right here. This is going to be the overall order flow. This is the order flow that you want to be looking into. So you want to take in consideration from this point, from this accumulation price to this accumulation price as a zone of imbalance. Take the midpoint, and that's going to be something that you'll be taking in consideration. Now, accumulation price is very crucial. It works for so many things. It works for you to take in consideration a great start for a new accumulation, a great start for a continuation of accumulation or distribution, so on and so on. But mainly, accumulation price is for you to pay close attention. It doesn't mean that you enter. It doesn't mean that you hit take profit, so on and so on. It just means that there's a lot of detail that can happen on the 1 minute time frame, and you can take full advantage of that. So, as we can see, let's go ahead and continue and look for more accumulation of price. That way we can go ahead and see this right here. Look at this right here. We see a nice accumulation of price. Nice accumulation of price. What happened? Well, as we can go ahead and see, market came into that section of accumulation of price. We go ahead and go into that section of accumulation price right over here. We test that accumulation price, comes back down. Why? Because there's a lot of price, a lot of orders accumulating in that area. Therefore, we created that accumulation of price, and market was respecting it. Now, as we go ahead and move on, right here, we can see the following. we see this accumulation of price. Now, this accumulation of price, what it ended up doing, it ended up creating order flow. Now, like I said, you want to investigate a lot of what happened in these areas of accumulation of price. Right here, market comes down. It created the overall push right here and then push right here. So this is the start and this is the end of the order flow. So market goes ahead and breaks underneath this. Well, what are we going to be looking for? We're going to be looking for market to potentially come back up into those sections for a continuation to the downside. And as we can see, we see that move to the downside, continues accumulating up over here, and then continues distributing to the downside. So accumulation of price are very important. You'll be spotting them either in huge moves. So for example, right here, we can see this huge move over here. Okay, where did market come into? Market came into accumulation of price. Okay, fulfilling imbalance. Remember that you'll see them huge moves, and typically when you see huge moves, it's creating an imbalance. The bottom of that is typically going to be an accumulation of price, and that is what you want to take in consideration. If you do see accumulation of price, this is a no-brainer for me to take in consideration, investigate once it gets to that point, and then potentially take a trade. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys understand the overall concept of accumulation of price. Accumulation of price, once again, it's not an entry, it's not an exit. It's a simple pattern for you to take in consideration that you should be doing your due diligence, go on smaller time frames, M1 and 3, so that way you can see if markets reaccumulating or redistributing, and then go ahead and take your bias off of that. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to see next on the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.